Welcome to the Redefine podcast.
All right, welcome back to the show. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about network marketing presentations. What are we actually selling? I did this topic in the Redefine community on Facebook, so if you want to go check it out, it's facebook.com/groups/redefine community. And I've taken the replay and I've chopped it up for today's episode. So without further ado, here's the recording.
New people to the community, you'll notice that I never hide what company I'm with, what products I'm promoting. It's something that I feel very strongly about because, and this is the first point as far as presentations go. I see this. I've seen this, and I still continue to see this today. The practice of not necessarily being forward or upfront with the fact that we are, number one, in network marketing, and number two, what we're selling, right? All right. So, it's the old bait and switch presentation, where, you invite people to a presentation on products when really the focus is, and these are just examples, right? Now you invite people to take a look at the products when really the focus of your presentation is the business opportunity. And I'm going to talk about specific recruiting. Sorry. I'm going to talk about recruiting, specifically in the next episode. That's going to have its own standalone episode, and that will actually wrap up the series. But today, we will just be talking about presentations. Bait and switch, right? So that, the other kind of bait and switch, which happened to me, when I first got started in this profession was, and I had no idea, I had no clue about network marketing. I was invited to a business presentation, and I was told that, the typical network marketing language that, at the time, late 90s, my friend had invited me and with, under the, and I wouldn't necessarily call it pretense on his part, but I think it was what he was guided to do. But he had invited me to a business presentation, stating that he has a side business and his business partners were expanding and they were looking for more people to partner with. When I got to the presentation, again, I had no idea, no preconceived notions about network marketing. I got to the presentation and I fell in love with the concept of network marketing, from day one. I didn't know it was network marketing. That's first thing. And number two, they actually actively told me it was not network marketing, and that we were participating in e-commerce, right? E-commerce, the old bait and switch. Again, inviting under the pretense that it's something other than what it actually is, right? And then flipping the switch, right? Once they get to the invite, flipping the switch, and then, oh, it's one of those things, right? It's a thing where they want to recruit you, so that they can build their downline, et cetera, et cetera. Sounds pretty crazy, but it still does happen, right? Another example that I've just very recently seen today, as a matter of fact, is, it's very similar. There's an affiliate, marketer that I follow, and they, I wanted to look at their business model. I wanted to look at, how they were creating, how they were generating customers and sales via their affiliate marketing and their online presence and their content creation, because that's what I thought it was, right? So I've been following this individual on Instagram, and the posts were all about, as a matter of fact, I remember specifically them saying that they were a network marketer, but they had left network marketing to do high ticket affiliate sales. And I get that, right? So I was really intrigued, by it, because, the marketplace, I think, is more open to looking at affiliate sales as opposed to network marketing, because we just have such a bad rap, right? Again, that goes down to recruiting, which I'll talk about in the next episode. So I was intrigued by this individual's, content and, what they were promoting. And then, of course, showing the lifestyle that they had gained as a result of these, creating a strong high ticket affiliate business. And the thing that really got me was like, they had, like, this is, easy marketing. Marketing 101 is like, okay, so I'll show you how I did this. I'll show you how I'm creating my affiliate income, and I have all this financial freedom. And so I signed up for it, right? Like, I signed up and joined the group, and the email list and everything. And I saw their presentation. It was, like the 5 or 4 pillars of affiliate marketing. And so I was watching this presentation today. It was like a masterclass, right? I titled it Masterclass of Affiliate Marketing Masterclass. And I was watching this presentation today while I was at the gym on the treadmill. And, it was a lot of testimonials. It was like an hour and a half long, a lot of testimonials. They did give the pillars. And I got more and more curious, towards the end, because as they went through, they started talking about a company that they had partnered with. And then, the language, I started to hear language that was very similar to network marketing. I started to hear language like, I've been able to build my teams on autopilot, et cetera, using these 4 pillars. And so by the end of it, they named the company, and the company was, Enagic, the Kangen water filters. And that's clearly network marketing. I mean, Enagic, I've had a lot of familiarity with. I've been pitched, on Enagic and Kangen, many times over my career. And yes, I mean, it can be an affiliate sales, high ticket affiliate sales, deal. But in the masterclass that I watched, they were talking about, network marketing, right? The network marketing side of Enagic and Kangen. Again, I understand if they're leveraging social media and really just focusing on customer sales, but, it's the bait and switch, right? Like I came in looking to learn about affiliate marketing, but really it's a network marketing deal. I would have been okay even if, I would have even been okay if they had just talked about the products, right? If they were open up front, about what they were presenting about, like the amazing water, and the health benefits, et cetera, which, it's questionable at best. I would have known what I was getting into, basically is what I'm getting at, right? This is why people have a problem. one of the many reasons people have a problem with network marketing, right? Not being upfront and transparent about what you're offering people and what you're promoting and what you're offering them. Yeah. It's just, I mean, I know it's marketing, but for me, it really, there's an integrity question there, right? Because if you're just getting people in to the presentation, and I know also that it's a numbers game, but to boost your numbers by not being upfront about what you're presenting, to me, is not how I would want to do business. And again, also contributes to the fact that people have a bad taste in their mouth about network marketing, right? Like, we got to be upfront. We got to be honest with what we're offering people. And it really kind of, I don't know. I think it has to go beyond your sales and the outcomes you're trying to create and really just be there of service and have ethics, have integrity behind it. I think, speaking especially with online presentations or content creation, you can create a brand and awareness around your products without having to hide the fact that you're network marketing. I don't, like I said earlier, I don't hide the fact that I'm a network marketer. I don't even hide, the specific products and the specific company that I'm affiliated with, which is a network marketing company. If we continue to operate this way as a profession, then we're never going to gain the trust of the general public, and we're never going to grow beyond, yeah, beyond our numbers, right? Like, sure, you might be able to capture and get new people in who have never been in network marketing, but it's a revolving door, right? So as many people as you get in, there's at least that many number leaving, because it was, they were not, honestly presented to, right? Right. So that's definitely a big component, right? I encourage you, as you look at your presentations, please stop with the bait and switch, man. You know, that's not cool. Bait them in with this and then switch it when they're in the door, right? We can do better, because I think we don't need to rely on that. My career is proof of this. So for those of you who don't know me personally, I've been a network marketer for almost 20 years, 18, 19, 20, around there. And I've built a massive business. I've consistently been in the top 10, sometimes the top 5, of my company for the last 10 years. And I've never resorted to bait and switch type presentations. When I do a presentation, people know what they're getting into. And I've certainly done my best to instill that in my organization and in my team, right? Obviously, we're network marketers. You can practice your business any way you want, but I think at the end of the day, people will appreciate you, whether they sign up with you or not. People will appreciate you for being honest, as opposed to trying to pull the wool over their heads just to get them to look at your presentation. And pull the wool over their eyes, I think is the saying, just to get them in a presentation, right? I personally don't appreciate that kind of practice, and so I don't practice and operate that way myself. Okay, so that's the first aspect of presentations that I want to talk about. The second aspect is, okay, so what are we actually selling, right? When we get to the actual presentation and the mechanics of it, what have we historically sold? For me, because I came up in the profession at a time where compensation plans only pay commissions on distributors, signups, right? Unless you're directly retailing the product yourself to your friends and family, the only way to make money in network marketing was to build your downline, and they end up your downline and your organization, the distributor field ends up being your end customer as well, right? So there was not really a distinction because of the limitations of the compensation plans. There wasn't a distinction between customer and distributor. Because of that, I always focused on talking about the business, right? Like that was the main selling point, as it were. So I led with the business, as we say in the profession, right? What should I lead with? Lead with the business or lead with the products? I always led with the business. Obviously, things have changed. Compensation plans have evolved and adapted to the marketplace and allow for commissions to be paid out on customer acquisition and customer sales without ever having to recruit. Now, if you are with a company that doesn't have a customer component in your compensation plan, if the compensation plan still requires recruiting a downline into your organization in order for you to make a single dollar, then that's something that you really have to consider, maybe approaching the corporate office about to adjust, or looking at other companies out there that do allow for customer sales, commissions on customer sales without recruiting. Because they are out there. I can't say how many, but they are out there. My company is one of those, right? We adapted, in the last couple of years to include a customer bonus so that people can start making money right away up front without having to recruit anybody into their organization. I mean, because honestly, 98% of the field, that come into network marketing will, I don't know, it's a pretty high number. 70% would never recruit a single person. Another maybe 15 to 20 will recruit one or two. another 5 will recruit maybe up to 4 to 6, and then the rest are your superstars. It's like 2%, right? That go on to recruit 10 or more, right? So like the reality is compensation plans have to account for that. And so I think companies are starting to get wise, and that is a conversation you need to have with your corporate office and or with yourself, and really start looking at other options if there are those limitations. The issue really then is that our narratives and our presentation strategies haven't changed to account for that, right? We're there because it's led top down, right? Generally top down, the leaders that are kind of dictating the systems and how the field operates are teaching and operating under pretty antiquated practice and antiquated mindsets, right? Like old school leaders are still thinking, recruit, lead with the business, sell the dream, show them how to make money by bringing in their friends and family, or whatever method. But it is very, very much still, selling the business opportunity as a primary way to generate income, because that's what we know, right? Again, I'm a dinosaur myself. Again, I've been in this profession almost 20 years. So, it's like that old saying, you can't teach old dogs new tricks. The network marketing profession is really having a hard time letting go of this methodology of presenting the business opportunity as a way to generate income, right? So leading with the business opportunity, and then presenting the strategies that I talked about in episode 2, which is really not really strategies. They're just hypotheticals, right? And what you can achieve with the compensation plan. And then the bulk packages being the higher volume packages. This is what you can potentially earn. People, and I'm guilty of this. I've worked some beautiful presentations to show, okay, if you do this, and this, right? Like in my first company, it was all about get 5 and help them get 5 and help them get 5, right? And you'll have this amount of income. In kind of in my middle career, the second, around, the mid to late 2000s, it was a 2x2 because I was in a binary company, right? There were the binary compensation plan started to really come out in around that time. And that was innovative. So we just adjusted our hypothetical numbers. Well, if you recruit 2 into your organization this month, and you help them next month do the same, and next month do the same, next month do the same, the doubling, right? By the end of a year, you're going to have, 10,000 people. I don't know. It's something stupid, right? Those were typically the things that, and of course, the volume with that many people equals this amount of dollars is what you can potentially earn at the end of 12 months if you do this. To me, a couple of things. If you reference back to the strategy episode, it's not a strategy, right? When you present things, when you have something like a layout of, okay, so if you get 2 this week, you get 2 this week, you plug in, the bulk package volumes, you'll make X amount of money. It's not a strategy, right? That's a hypothetical. Again, it's a hypothetical of what the compensation plan, what you can get out of a compensation plan in the perfect case, perfect world scenario. So that said, even if it was a strategy, why would you use a strategy as a selling point in your presentation, right? Like this really occurred to me, and again, I laugh at it because I did it myself. And I also realized that it was largely because of the limitations of the compensation plans, but that's not the case anymore today, right? Why would a strategy be the selling point in your presentation, right? Especially when it's coupled with a bait and switch and people didn't know they were coming into a network marketing presentation. yeah, it just gets really, really icky. It really gets muddled and unclear for your prospects that are sitting there that are thinking, man, I thought I was just going to look at supplements, or, I thought I was just going to look at, cell phone service, or whatever it might be. Right. But here I am, I'm getting pitched on a business opportunity, that I was not interested in the first place. You see how, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but the logic of that, you can see where this can all be very problematic, right? It's, again, there are a lot of reasons why the general public has a bad taste in their mouth about network marketing. And what I've tried to do in this series is lay those out. And really point out, okay, this, and this, and we can adjust all of that very easily just by opening up our minds to having different conversations and adjusting the network marketing narrative, to be more inclusive and to be more honest and open with that conversation, so that we're not, trying to pull wool over people's eyes. The last aspect of the presentation that I think needs adjusted is how hard we sell it, right? Like, it's like, if somebody comes into a presentation thinking that they're going to look at products or services that they might be interested in for themselves, and then it's all hard selling the dream, right? Promising them that they can have financial future and financial independence and financial freedom if they help them bring into, and this is the money that you're going to that will residually come in every month. I mean, like, I would tune out immediately. Right. Again, if I came in there for a product presentation or a service presentation, and I'm getting hard sold a dream that I'm not even interested in, and this wacky hypothetical that you're telling me that's how easy it is to get there, and really being pushed to purchase these large bulk package products, I don't know, it really kind of, for me, especially as capable and as good as some of the top network marketers have become at selling, right? Like, sales is a skill, right? So many of us have gotten good at sales. So even if somebody is not coming in to look at a business opportunity, we have, especially those seasoned veterans, have the ability to close people on things that they may not necessarily be interested in, they may not necessarily even want, because we have those sales skill sets. What ends up happening is, once they get in, they get burned, right? Because, again, 98% of the people that get into network marketing can't do what the top 2 to 3% can do, right? What's the fix? Well, just be honest, right? Just be honest. That's why I've always been kind of at odds with teaching sales tactic and leaders in network marketing that teach sales tactic, because it can be misused. Unknowingly. I mean, I know, we all have our goals to achieve and the things that we want to do in our businesses and in our, in our lives. But by not having these conversations, we potentially, network marketing, the field potentially can misuse the things that we teach them, or the things that we show them, to gain, for their own best advantage, right? For their own gain. Because, I mean, there's no necessarily rules on how to do business, right? Other than the, policies and procedures and staying compliant with regulators. The scruples of hard closing people and hard selling people on the opportunity and on the business and then on these big packages, there's nothing regulating that at all, right? again, that's why 98% of the people that get into network marketing as a business get burned, right? John David Mann, for those of you who aren't familiar with him, he's a network marketer from, I don't know, 20 plus years ago. But he early in my career, he was one of the people that I really looked up to, because he had a great perspective on network marketing, even back then when compensation plans were very limited to just recruiting. And he wrote a series of essays over the years, articles and stuff on network marketing, all brilliant stuff. And he compiled it in a book. This book must be 20 years old, but he compiled it in a book called The Zen of MLM. And in one of those, essays, he talks about what he calls the golden rule, the Hippocratic oath of network marketing, is to first do no harm, right? And, I had no organization. I had really barely a business to speak of at the time, but that principle really resonated with me because, I had already, even early on in my career, I had already seen how network marketers had abused the freedoms that we have in this business in terms of how to practice it, right? Of course, there's always going to be a percentage of network marketers or people that get into network marketing that will not have the scruples, and that will just be like, I got to make sales, I got to make that cash, right? But for the most part, I think all of you can agree with me with this Hippocratic oath that John David Mann talked about in his book. And it was really, when you do a presentation, when you talk to anybody, when you talk to a prospect about your business, or when you have a conversation, make sure that they leave with a better impression of you and of network marketing and your business, and then of you than they had coming into the conversation, right? Right. It's the whole principle of leave a place better than it was when you first got here, right? I definitely want to leave network marketing a better profession than when I first got started. I mean, I'm not leaving anytime soon, but I operate under that principle because I think yeah, that's how I want to do business. That I think, increases the speed of business because you develop, because if you do business with compassion and understanding and with integrity and ethics, people will be much more apt to trust you. And we all know about the speed of trust, right? Trust is what makes business move and accelerate really fast. Otherwise you're just relying on numbers and churn, right? Developing trust, I know, seems like a slower play and a longer play, but I'm telling you, if you put in the time to do business with integrity and to be upfront and to be honest about what you're presenting, then eventually that momentum really kicks in, right? Like you build trust, you build rapport, your prospects leave, feeling better about network marketing, feeling better about your company, feeling better about you, whether they sign up or not. That just kind of compounds on itself and business starts to take off. It's pretty much what happened with me, right? Like it took me cumulatively 6.5, almost 7 years to start gaining traction in my profession, in my network marketing business. But once that momentum kicked in, man, it was hockey stick. Like, we talk about momentum. I shot up from, I started, 2013, I started the year, 2012, at the end of 2012, my last check was like $30 something, $32, 60 something bucks the week before that. By August, so that was 2012. By August, 2013, I was in the top 5 of the company, right? Now it didn't happen in those 8 months. It happened as a result of building with these principles over the previous 6.5, 7 years. It's just that the momentum caught up and it compounded, and my business went absolutely nuts, right? Of course, there's other things like consistency. I was always consistent with building my business despite feeling like I wasn't making any headway. And, a lot of other things in that organization, in my history, in my journey as a network marketer. But, one of the key components is just doing things with integrity and not hard selling people on, being honest and upfront, being transparent, and not hard selling people into things that they're not ready to do or even want. Right. So the adjustment would be, just present. And of course, again, this applies to companies that have, customer sales baked into their compensation plans. Just present the products and services, right? Or services that your company has to offer. And that also makes the conversations easier as well, right? When you're inviting people, right? Like when you have conversations with people, then it's easy to see what needs they might have in their lives, what problems that they might be looking to solve. And you'd be like, yeah, I got a product for that, or, I have a service for that. It's much less pressure than to try to talk and open a conversation about creating income on the side, right? Then you're manufacturing a conversation. And I know, again, that's how we were taught, 20 years ago, but that's no longer the case, right? If we do things right, then we can sell products and services all day long. And there will be those 2 to 3% that come in for the product presentation and be curious. Well, you're making pretty good money at this, right, Ronnie? Yeah. I mean, I'm pulling in a good income. Can you tell me more about that? Right? Like it's a more natural kind of sifting process as opposed to just running the numbers and churning through people, right? Let people self-select themselves. Austin Powers moment there. Let people self-select themselves into letting whether they're curious about the business or not. All right, as opposed to baiting and switching and forcing people to listen to something, or even hard selling them something that they weren't looking for in the first place. All right, making the products or your services the main selling point in your presentation makes this process so much smoother and so much natural, so much less pressure, and it can be done with so much more ethics and integrity.
All right, well, that is going to do it for today's episode on network marketing presentations. Hopefully that helped. Hopefully it made sense. If you have any, thoughts, ideas, if you want to get in on the discussion, of course, please feel free to join us in the Redefine community on Facebook. Again, it's facebook.com/group/Redefine community. I'll leave the link in the show notes of this episode. Of course, you can connect with me on any of the socials. Instagram, I am at the Ronnie Cruz. Facebook, Ronnie Cruz 11. Those are our 2 main ones. And then beyond that, we'll catch us in the next episode, where I'm going to finally be closing out this series on network marketing. We're going to be talking about recruiting. And it'll be actually the last episode of 2023. So it just worked out that way. But tune in. That episode's coming in a few days. So until then, be well, be safe. We'll see you in the next episode.